Hello everybody and welcome to the crypto session brief. We're on Wednesday the 8th of March 2023, recording this at almost 2 p.m. here in Europe, so a couple of hours later than we would usually get online, but nevertheless still happy to discuss the session ahead. US session, US markets opening around about an hour and a half's time from now. It's usually when we get all the main moves in cryptos and the highest levels of volume for the day. So what happened yesterday? We were at the point in the brief yesterday. I mentioned at the time that we were awaiting Fed Chair Jerome Powell's comments. His testimony, in fact, to Congress, and it was a very hawkish testimony in the end. And it basically spurred traders to price in a higher terminal rate of now over 5.5%. So Powell on Tuesday said that the central bank is actually likely to raise rates more than previously expected. Because don't forget, we haven't heard from Powell since we've had all these data beats on PPI, CPI, NFPs. Basically everything was going through the roof on economists' expectations. It's the first time we've properly heard from him, and his message was quite clear that the actual Fed funds rate, the terminal rate, will probably be higher than initially expected. So it was a pretty hawkish testimony overall. He warned of the process of pushing inflation down to the 2% target still has a long way to go, in his words. We've had 450 basis points of hikes since last year, and of course that's had a knock-on effect to the performance of risk assets, including cryptos. So we've now got a terminal rate of 5.65% from around 5.5% earlier this week, and we've now got the markets pricing in a 50 basis points hike, a 70% probability of a 50 basis points hike in the next meeting. That was a 25 basis points expectation just earlier on this week. What happened with markets? You saw a lot of strength to the US dollar. Other main markets, so the likes of gold selling off. You saw an initial move lower in equities, strength in the dollar yen, for example. We saw moves higher, and Bitcoin and others moving lower. I will say though, I was quite impressed with the likes of Bitcoin and Ethereum because they actually didn't get as affected by the hawkish comments as other markets. Despite that big move into the US dollar, you can see XET USD here, Ethereum was holding really firmly. You saw an initial break, but I mean, look at that. You could hardly see there's been any kind of move. Not the same on everything. You can see on Litecoin, for example, bottom right, we have been moving lower, putting in a few lower highs on the way down. And you can see when that news came out, we did see an initial sell-off. Same as Bitcoin. I mean, we did close below the previous low, whereas Ethereum has actually just held up pretty firm. So this level here at 1550, I mean, I've talked about how important it is, but I was expecting that to get broken with the hawkish comments. Bitcoin came into my support level. It has done so far today as well, 21,850, as markets continue to digest the words from yesterday. We don't believe we've got any major economic data being released today. Powell is back in the Senate. Oh, JOLTS job openings. Do apologise. We do have JOLTS jobs and the NFP, not NFP, so we've got the ADP non-farm employment change today as well. So there are two of interest. I wouldn't say that they're market moving as far as cryptos goes. Them comments yesterday are far more relevant to traders, I would say, than the JOLTS job. But the NFPs on Friday, they could have a larger effect. So we await them, and we'll discuss that closer on the day. The whole narrative here, and what I'm getting at, is the rising rates and yields. Basically, they dent the appeal of risk assets and could make it difficult for Bitcoin to really get that break higher. If we're going to get higher for longer, risk assets stay lower, then that 25k handle is looking like a pretty difficult place to get through. And when we were up there, I was talking about it looking pretty sticky. Turned out to be the case, and we've seen just a complete sea of red since. That one green day being an exception to the rule, really. Equities as well. Got to watch that correlation, because even though it broke on Friday with equities higher, cryptos lower, that was more related to something crypto specific with Silvergate. Now that seems to be fully priced in. The narrative is back onto this whole higher for longer narrative with rates. So Bitcoin is currently threatening the 21,850 handle. I mean, we have tested that already. That remains key for me, and then it's going to be a case of looking into that 21,376 low, that swing low. I mean, I don't need to tell you exactly. Don't need to really emphasize that. It's pretty obvious that we will be targeting that, and a break of that would see this market probably even moving back down into 20k. Something that you could see, I highlighted this, is head and shoulders. You got the shoulder, head, maybe another shoulder, so we see a move maybe into that, we test it, move back into the 23, 24, get another shoulder, and then break. But of course, we've got a few things to happen. The few things need to come in place in order for that to happen. Ethereum we've just talked about. Litecoin, that's pretty much it then from my end overall. I would say I will leave it there for today. See you all inside the chat room, and I look forward to tomorrow. Take care and bye for now.